So our steak's been aging in the fridge for 2 days in salt, pepper, truffle oil. We've been wrapping it in cheesecloth because that keeps some moisture in. So we're going to take it out of there, let it sit for a while. Next thing you want to do, trim off those edges that were sitting in the salt and pepper. Really important, it takes some of the moisture out so you really get that tenderness of the interior steak. When you're trimming the steak, you want to leave that fat cap on there. Leave it alone. Leave the salt and pepper on it. It's going to get a nice little flavor to it when you're searing it. So we just want to leave that there for that extra flavor. Next thing you want to do is slice them real thick slices. Really thick, as thick as you can. You know, it depends on how many people you want to feed. Really get that nice fatness to it. After that, you want to rub some oil on both sides of the steak. Sprinkle plenty of salt. I'm using kosher salt. You can also use flaky salt. That adds a nice crust as well. Really go heavy on that salt though. You might want to use more than 30% than what you actually need. That's really going to get you that nice crispy little crust that you want. Next thing you want to do is sear it. For this, just grab a hot skillet, put it on high heat. Don't add any oil to the skillet. Your steak's already got that oil on it. You're just going to sear each side for about a minute or so. If you want to do more searing, that's totally fine. That adds more crust, more flavor. You really get those juices out of the steak. Make sure to do it on the fat cap as well. Really get that oil out of there. Just sear each side more or less until you see a nice crust develop. You can really hear that sizzle. All that little oil there just bubbling up, really getting that crust going. After you're done searing the steaks, let them sit out for a few minutes and just prepare your butter basting pan. We want to use a medium heat for this. Just really not overboil that butter, not burn it, but just enough to melt it and get it cooking on that steak. For the butter basting, I made some homemade compound butter with garlic, sage, and rosemary. You also want to use olive oil butter if you can. It'll really get that nice flavor to it. We're just going to stick some on there in a medium heat. Add your steak and begin to baste. You'll see the butter start to melt and bubble. That's a really good sign. You just want to keep throwing it on there with the spoon. Really get that steak to get that butter feel. Continue to flip it. It'll keep developing that crust as you go. You just got to keep going and keep basting until you feel that consistency that your steak's ready to go. After you finish butter basting your steak, let it sit on the cutting board for a few minutes. Really let it finish cooking. Let all those juices lock in, all those flavors lock in. Then go in and take a nice slice, cut it open, and give yourselves a chef's kiss. You got the best steak in the world right there. That's steakhouse quality. Enjoy it, and you won't regret taking a bite out of this one. See you on the next episode.